All right, let's do it.
All right, man. You do your best. Don't be afraid, and it's all going to be okay.
So back.
Alrighty, welcome back. This is the So Back podcast, episode 12. We are so back. We got some college football, we got some NFL, we got some coaching drama to talk about today. We got a packed show for you today. Eddie, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm excited. We're closing in on playoff time here for college ball. We're getting into some really exciting matchups. I'm excited. Things are getting fun here in football.
Alrighty, let's start it off like we always do with the Georgia Bulldogs taking on the Mississippi State Bulldogs, who have been very frisky this year. Um, it looked like it might be that way in the first quarter, but Georgia ended up pulling away. What do you think, Ed?
Yeah, this was total domination from the Georgia Bulldogs. Early, Mississippi State goes up 7, and you start to think, oh no, what do we got here? It's going to be one of these days because you're in Mississippi State too. Crowd's electric, bells are flying, everybody's shaking them like nuts. But beyond that, Georgia has just a massive offensive day, almost 600 yards total offense. Yeah, everything was working for the Bulldogs. It was good to see that they didn't play down to their competition in this game. No hate on Mississippi State, but Georgia is the better team, and they proved that in full fashion last Saturday.
Yeah, I mean, not much to say about this game. I think the two 60-yard bombs in the second half really helped kind of just launch it into just like, okay, this game's really out of touch. This one's over. But starting the game, Shapen brings him down the field, and I was like, whoa, we might be in for a long day here. And then he ends up getting hurt, and the kid behind him's not really that great. Never really played, Kamario Taylor. Um, but yeah, it was just a tough matchup for Mississippi State. It was never really gonna go their way.
Yeah, from the beginning, like you say, it appeared that there was a chance that this Mississippi State offense could have hung in the game, but really for Mississippi State to have a chance in this game, I think they would have to be up at halftime, and Georgia snuffed that out pretty quick and were able to put the hurting on the little Bulldogs, I suppose,
The baby Bulldogs,
the baby dogs. But
the Cow Dogs.
the cow dogs. It got to the point where I believe it was 38-7. And at that point, Mississippi State scores a couple garbage time touchdowns, but it didn't really matter. Georgia was able to hold on to this one. Yeah, and like you say, not much to talk about. You move on. You got a big week ahead. You did your job against the team you're supposed to beat. Now you got a tougher one heading up this weekend.
Big one in Texas that we'll talk about here in a few minutes. Next game we're gonna talk about though is a big one for the Big 12. Texas Tech kicking the shit out of BYU. This is a really big one in terms of playoff implications, conference championship implications, and Texas Tech just shows that they're the better team, I think.
Yeah, I mean, defensively, it was complete domination on the field. The BYU offense looked like they had never played before, ever. I mean, totaled 4 sacks in the first half alone. That Texas Tech Raiders D. Um, do I think Texas Tech can win the national championship? My opinion remains at no. But did they look solid enough that they have proved me wrong that they won't be in the playoff? Yeah, they did do that. Because I did think BYU had a solid shot at winning this game and didn't. And another thing I kind of wanted to bring up is that BYU is still, according to the CFP rankings, they're still ranked pretty high. And this was not a good game at all by BYU.
Yeah, I mean, I think later in the show we're gonna have some real interesting things to talk about in terms of the playoff picture. Some of the things that we've been hearing early in this week about who maybe can get in, how many teams from which conference. But I think if you're a Big 12 team, you got to be under the assumption that we're going to get one, maybe two. We'll get you really want to be that one, so you got to make your conference championship game and you got to win it. And so this was a really important one for both these teams.
Yeah, it's huge for the Big 12. I was keeping up with the game pretty heavily just because of the implications that it holds for one of these teams to likely make a deep run later into the season because I just don't know if maybe Texas Tech can hang with, these powerhouse schools, but the defense looking the way that it did, I mean, you hold any team to 7 points, that's pretty good. But you hold a top 10 team in the nation that hadn't lost a game to seven, that's really good and impressive stuff from the Raiders D. I don't know if it's going to be the end of it for BYU. I still think that BYU has a chance to sneak into that playoff picture, but it's an ugly one. And if you want any shot whatsoever moving down the line here, you better make some offensive adjustments and you better make it quick because I don't think Texas Tech is the hardest defense you'd see in the college football playoff.
Yeah, and I mean, I think a lot of this is how the Big 12 is going to shake out at the end of the year. You still got Utah in there, kind of fighting for one of those spots in the conference championship game. I think that we'll see both of these teams in this conference championship game, and then the winner of that will be who goes. The way kind of it's been looking, I see some more SEC teams getting in, and some of those extra spots that we thought maybe would go to the ACC or the Big 12. Some of those spots are kind of shrinking. So it's really do or die for these teams at the moment.
Yeah. Um, they'll have some matchups going forward that will likely be winnable for both of these squads. And then, you know, as you say, it's all about the Big 12 championship here. You just got to go and get it done if you're either of those schools. Texas Tech likely, I would think, would win the Big 12 based on how they performed in that conference matchup there. Um, yeah, hats off. Hats off to Texas Tech. Impressive stuff.
All right, we'll move on to probably one of the more interesting games of the week that we didn't think was going to be interesting. And that is Indiana versus a god-awful Penn State team. And it was a close one.
Yeah, I mean, it came down to the very last play of the game, and man, whoo! I mean, Indiana was backs to the wall. Penn State had Indiana pinned. This wasn't like Indiana had to kind of hold off a late surge from Penn State. This was like Indiana had to make something happen, or their season was. I mean, they probably would have still made the playoff, but their chances at a Big Ten championship were slipping away.
Yeah, I mean, a loss to Penn State would have made it just would have made it that much more difficult for a Penn State team that people already want to find, I think, excuses to not believe in. Because they're Indiana and they're not usually, a powerhouse. But I think I have a little bit of a spin zone on this game. Um, this is probably good for Indiana in the long run. It's not like extremely late in the season. We got a few weeks left. Um, but you get a scare, you get a hey, you can't take any of these games lightly. Um, and you kind of take that heading into the rest of the season, into the playoffs. Because they got a tough road ahead if they want to achieve kind of the goals that they're looking for. And as the number two team in the nation, they want to win a national championship. So um, I think this might be a little bit of a good wake up call for them. They played poorly, but they got the win. Um, like I always say, they don't ask how, just how many. They're 10-0, still cruising.
Yeah, I mean, that's a really good point and one that I could really support because I do think similarly, if we look into what happened last year with our national champions currently, you have Ohio State, right? This team loses to Michigan and they get really frustrated going into the playoff, have a gauntlet ahead, have to play a lot of tough teams in that playoff. And end up winning them all and then end up winning the national championship. I mean, you had to play Tennessee, you had to play Texas, you had tough schools and end up slipping into the college football national championship and getting a win there. And I think it's big for particularly not only like the entire team, but to see that Mendoza can lead these game winning drives and win when it comes down to it. I mean, the touchdown pass to Omar Cooper was insane. I don't know if you saw it, but the way that he was able to get his foot down and somehow contort his body to score that touchdown at the end of the game was
Yes, I
absurd.
did see this. Did you see the big props that are going on the referee for spotting that like on the field? He got it. He got it right on the field because he like moved his body to the right spot. He was right there looking at it. Got it right on the field. Touchdown. Indiana wins the game and survives a big scare.
Yeah, you love good ref play. So we like to see that.
Refereeing, special teams. I'm into the intricacies of the game. I'm a real football guy, you know?
Yeah, the small things. You guys look at QBs and I'm looking at the line judge.
Gotta have good form out here. We want to be perfect in every aspect of the game.
You have to be. You miss a pass interference, you run a mile. That's what they
I
say.
was so hoping you'd get the reference. That's hilarious. We will move on to a big SEC matchup. We got number 3 Texas A&M beating number 22 Missouri, 38-17. I'm seeing some people continue to talk like maybe Missouri might try to sneak in. Greg Sankey, I believe, made a statement saying that 8 SEC teams might get in. Um, they're 2-3 in the SEC, so I don't really see that as a team that should get in. Um,
I don't even see it
but
as
I
like a
think
viable
Texas A&M
possibility.
continued to impress. Yeah, I mean, this Texas A&M team showed them why they shouldn't be in the playoff, I think. I mean, when your quarterback has 77 yards, he goes 7 for 22. I mean, how many football games are you going to win like that? I mean, your running
Many.
backs did well. You had two running backs over 100, but I mean, you're not going to beat a powerful Texas A&M offense like this.
Nah, I mean, because then you become a one-sided and a one-dimensional offense, which Texas A&M knows how to play against, as we saw. Because yeah, you're giving up, run yards here and there, but then they snuff you out at midfield, and then you end up punting the ball back to them anyways. And yeah, the A&M offense looked great, and their defense looked really, particularly against the pass, even better. I mean, the thing about the Texas A&M offense that I really liked in this game was how uneasy they kept the defense with just the mix-up of rushing and passing plays. Despite the lead, sometimes they would run an air play and a pass, and it's just fun to watch this A&M team that I think is actually really good. And I do think that not a lot of people think that this team can win a national championship, but I will tell you that these Aggies can win a national championship if they get hot going into the playoff.
Yeah, I mean, I think this team is legit. Um, we saw we've seen them kind of come out and impress against these teams that normally they might have stumbled a little bit or they might have uh they might have had a tougher time with a team like Missouri in the past, but they're 9-0, they're rolling, and they're playing very well at the moment.
Yeah, for sure. I'm not expecting much to slow down. This is a team that has a very solid chance at winning the SEC this year. We'll just see how it goes.
All right, and we are going to move back to the Big Ten, another ranked matchup, Oregon, Iowa. Oregon squeaks out a 18-16 victory, which is a very weird football score to look at. Um, what do you think, Ed?
Well, a big one for me here in this game is that I think a lot of people are talking about this game means that Oregon is not as good as we thought. But I'm going to say that I think that this game means that Iowa is better than we thought. And they have now fallen out of the rankings. They are now unranked. They weren't ever going to make the playoff, probably. But I think that this was a big testament to the Iowa team. I mean, the Iowa defense is very solid in all of college football, not just the Big Ten. And They held Oregon to 18 points. And at one point, they're late. Oregon was down, 16 to 15. It wasn't a gimme field goal. You miss that kick, Iowa beats Oregon. Iowa is right on the bubble of the playoff, and now they're probably out of it. I give a lot of props to the Hawkeyes for really giving these Ducks a scare at ending their season.
Yeah, I mean they really would have made a run at it because that would have put them at 7-2. They would have been tied with Oregon at 7-2 with the tiebreaker over them, kind of making that top of that Big Ten a little bit more interesting. Um, yeah, I Iowa's been a little bit under the radar this season as they kind of tend to be. They don't score very many points. They're
Mhm.
not the flashiest team, but I mean they're 6-3. They win football games, so yeah, they give number 9 Oregon a scare. But I think Oregon's going to continue to cruise a little bit. Dante Moore didn't have his best day.
There's
Um,
a lot of run from the Oregon offense.
so I'm not. I don't take this as a team defining performance from Oregon.
No, I really think that this is a bigger testament to the Iowa defense than a disgrace to the Oregon offense. I think that the Iowa defense showed up and was ready, and they played well, nearly well enough to beat, a top 10 team in Oregon, but just wasn't enough. Also, kind of want to bring up that the Oregon kicker's name is Atticus Sappington. Don't know if anyone saw that. That's pretty cool to me.
That's got to be royalty or something.
It's
What
gotta
a
be.
name that is.
Yeah,
What
Atticus
say? Give it to me
Sappington.
again. Atticus Scaffington.
Sappington, like tree sap.
Sappington.
Yeah.
Atticus Sappington. Hello, I'm Atticus Sappington.
Yeah, he's British for
Yeah,
sure, but
for sure he's got to be British, Australian. He's not from here.
he's son of a king somewhere, but he hits the game winner, so, making King proud over there.
All right, we will move on to a shootout in the SEC. Number 16, Vanderbilt wins in overtime against unranked Auburn. Ashton Daniels from the Auburn Tigers has 353 yards, 2 touchdowns, but Diego Pavia, 377 yards, 3 touchdowns. He shows up versus Auburn. He shows up once again. Vanderbilt gets the win.
Yeah, Diego Pavia absolutely came in here and did his job. 377 passing yards and then over 100 rushing yards as well. This kid is so good at football. And I know that it's against Auburn, but guys, let's not sleep on Auburn either. Auburn's been frisky all year. They keep all their ranked
Their
matchup
players get paid too.
They keep all of their ranked matchups close, and they did the same thing against this Vanderbilt team that did very well offensively, but defensively has some things to work on. And we saw that throughout the year, as we saw that in the Bama game as well, where their offense wasn't tremendous that game, but defense just allowed too many points, and it was just too much to overcome. We've seen that a couple times this year from Vanderbilt. So the defense of Vanderbilt scares me a little bit as they push closer into this playoff race that they have, battled for a very long time to be in. But the Vandy offense is good, and Diego Pavia is ridiculous, and I think he's going to be a successful player for a while.
I don't know if we had this planned, but we think Diego Pavia is kind of right there for the Heisman. It's got to be, right?
He's kind of sneaky, I feel like. Every week we talk about the fact that he has like an absurd amount of rush yards along with his pass yards.
Yeah, I mean his stat lines are just ridiculous. I haven't really looked at the odds for who it is, but he's got to be up there.
I know Julian Sayin is high right now, and Fernando
Mm.
Mendoza is high as well. I think those are the two favorites currently. Um, which I guess makes sense. But a lot of Ohio State fans are upset because Mendoza is in the mix because he got boosted because he led a game-winning drive against Penn State. And they're frustrated because they're like, well, we didn't even have to lead a game-winning drive in Penn State. Why are we getting punished for that? But shut up, Ohio State. Shut up. Just shut up.
Nobody wants to listen to you guys complain.
No, nobody wants to listen.
But what we do want to talk about is some good old ACC football and just watching this conference just collapse on itself. Virginia, number 14,
Yeah.
leaders in the ACC, lose to Wake Forest. And does anybody from the ACC want to go to the college football playoff? It seems like they all just kind of, I'm okay.
Dude, I'm just gonna be honest with you, man. As far as I'm concerned, as of now, until I'm proven differently, the ACC is the weakest of the Power Four conferences, pretty much by far right now. And yeah, I mean, Virginia looked terrible. Like, now I was happy that special teams was decided it. All field goals, all game, all field
Special
goals.
teams, special plays, special players, baby. Let's go.
Yeah. I mean, no touchdowns throughout the game. It's all special teams and defense. And a
Was there a
16 to
safety thrown in there?
I believe so because it was 16 to 9. So I believe we've
Yeah, I
got
was
a
like, how did they get to 16?
I believe we've got a safety as well. We've got three field goals, a safety, no, five field goals and a safety to wait, that doesn't even
No,
make
because
sense either.
five, that'd be 17. We get to 16 points
I don't actually know how we
with
got
no
to 16.
touchdowns.
I know there was no touchdowns in this game. I'm
Defensive touchdown, maybe?
oh, it was a punt return. Punt return touchdown. That's what it
Punt
was.
return touchdown. Okay. I was like, how did we get to 16? Okay, sorry. Punt return
That's
touchdown.
right. It was a long punt return touchdown from Wake Forest. I think it was like a 90-yarder or something. But terrible.
Really
I
shows how much we
mean,
care about the ACC.
I mean, unfortunately, guys, I will watch the ACC when they play the SEC or when they play the Big Ten. But I just don't really think that we threw Virginia in our AE top 10 last week. It seems like
It
every
was
time
more
we
of a
do,
pity give.
it seems like anytime we throw an ACC team in the top 10, other than Miami for the first half of the year, they like lose and then they're out of the top 10 for us. So
Yeah.
we kind of jinx them every time. But like, can you
Let's put
like
Georgia Tech
show?
in.
I mean, can we can we show like that we are at least half good? Like the Virginia
Yeah.
offense was just dismantled this game. Now, to be fair, their QB left with an injury, but still, I mean, next man up mentality. Yeah, it has to happen. You can't commit three fumbles and expect to win a game.
Yeah, I mean it's just gonna it just makes the road for really any ACC team a lot tougher to get in. We're gonna talk about it towards the end of the show when we do our AE poll. Before we move on to the NFL, I want to talk a little bit of college coaching drama. I don't know if you've seen this LSU story with Brian Kelly, but basically LSU is claiming that they never officially fired Brian Kelly and that now they are exploring firing him for cause, thus negating his $54 million contract buyout. Um, from what I've read, I still think Brian Kelly's a scumbag, but I think they're trying to screw him here. The athletic director who was fired 4 day or left his duties, I believe he resigned. Um, 4 days later, after he fired Brian Kelly, they're saying he didn't have the authority to fire Brian Kelly. Um, which I don't. There, there were other LSU athletics personnel in the room. Um, when this conversation about Brian Kelly leaving came. And then from what it looks like to me, LSU was trying to kind of bargain down Brian Kelly's contract extension. They offered him 25 million. He said no. They offered him 30 million. He said no. From what it seems like, they were probably saying, if you don't accept 30, we're just gonna have to go after firing you for cause. And I just think the way the contract is written, I just don't think that they're gonna get away with this.
Yeah, I hadn't heard about this, but that's definitely a dramatic story there for sure. $54 million is a lot of money, more money than I will ever see. Definitely something
Yeah.
worth fighting for there.
No, I mean, it's It's very weird. I don't know why they waited this long. The whole like situation there has been really messy with the governor kind of talking about firing people, and it got really messy. And I think probably LSU, not LSU, the state of Louisiana was probably not too happy that they had to pay $54 million to a coach to not coach anymore. Um, and everybody just kind of freaked out. It kind of seems like what's going on. Um, but it'll be a story to keep your eye on. Um, I I don't like Brian Kelly, but he's good for the game, so I want him to continue to get coaching job just so I can hate him.
Sure.
Um, but so I don't think what they're doing to him is right, but it's still fuck Brian Kelly. It's still work clear.
I understand. And I honestly believe your story. I'm listening to you more intently because I know your hatred for Brian Kelly. So the fact that you are kind of on his side is like, all right, I mean, he probably getting hosed here.
Right. I mean, you don't want to see somebody get screwed out of a contract. I mean, we both agreed that I would coach here forever, and if you made me not coach here, you pay me 54 million. That was the deal. And now they're trying to go back on the deal. Uh, just isn't. These coaches make a lot of money, but when you sign a contract, you gotta honor the contract.
It's sleazy. I mean, you don't,
Yeah,
if you sign a contract, you go by the contract. You can try to find a wormhole, what loophole. Can
loophole.
try to find can try to find a loophole, but I don't know. That we'll see. Maybe they're right, but even if they are right and can get out of it, I don't like it.
Yeah, and I if they aren't right, they're probably gonna end up paying even more than the 54 million. So,
This is high risk, high reward for the state of
a
Louisiana.
messy situation down there in Louisiana. But as we said, we are going to talk some NFL. Before we get into the rest of the NFL, as always, it is time for our Falcons Minute.
Yeah. Honestly, guys, I'm not really too upset. I didn't really think we had a chance against the Colts, and we took them to OT. Our defense looked good, other than Jonathan Taylor, who rushed for almost 250 yards.
Yeah, except for that small bit there.
Except for that small miscue, I guess. I mean, our pass defense looked good against Daniel Jones, but it is, I mean, the Falcons' playoff chances have gone down to 4%. They drop rapidly day by day. Uh,
I was surprised you're even looking.
yeah, it came up on my feed. I didn't look it up.
Okay. It's like
um,
that's crazy for you to even be caring. No.
no,
Okay, I got you though.
we were 0 for 8 on third down. The Colts didn't even get their third down conversion until the fourth quarter. Pretty defensive essentially, but we had a chance. We had our shot. We got the ball back in the fourth quarter with like a little bit of time left, and Darnell Mooney dropped a key pass. Then we had an intentional grounding penalty, and then we went to overtime. And for some unknown reason, we elected to start with the ball. Why? I don't know. I can't tell you that. But we did, and we didn't score. And then obviously the Colts put the dagger in us, and we will now fall to 3-6 on the year. I'm okay for everyone wondering. I am all right. I have college football, is what I have. So
Blow it up.
blow it up.
Blow it up. All right, we're gonna move on. Um, we have the 2-8 New Orleans Saints taking down the mighty 5-5 Panthers, 17-7. Tyler Shuck with 2 touchdowns, 282 yards. He's the man. Saints win.
I mean, I can say it's a defensive grind, but really it was an offensive miscue pretty much all day from both of these squads. I mean, geez. I watched the entire game because my girlfriend made me, and not a fun game to watch. Saints defense made the Panthers offense look untouchable. What the Saints did in this game is they literally were like, okay, I am going to do nothing but watch Rico Dowdle, and he is not going to go anywhere. And shocker, NFL, when Rico Dowdle doesn't rush for 200 on you, Panthers aren't going to win.
Hey, can we give the ball to Chuba a little bit more? I kind of need some points out of him.
Yeah, for
Maybe
real.
diversify the offense a little bit. Bryce Young's obviously not getting done. So let's give it to Chuba. Maybe unlock something that maybe is there. I don't know. That's just a suggestion.
At
But
least this week, you know.
yeah, seriously. I mean, I don't know. This game, whatever. These two teams aren't very good. Um,
Nope.
I think the Panthers are not as good as their record may show. Um, and the Saints are frisky and they're good. They're not frisky, they're bad. But they're good for a couple of these wins a year. Where they'll just be like, "Hey, we kind of remembered how to play football this week."
It's a lot of these
So,
rivalry kind of games that they do that. I'm
yeah.
sure they will. I'm sure they'll get us once this year, and I'll be very upset about. That's going to be a long Falcons minute. That one.
Maybe a Falcons couple of minutes there.
Yeah, that's going to be I'm going to be pissed about that one.
But we will move on to the NFA. Nope, just kidding. NFAF, whatever. You don't know. AFC North, Bills, Dolphins. Is this the AFC North, the AFC East? I think it's the East.
It's the
I'm an
East.
idiot.
AFC North is like
100% the
yeah.
East. Yeah, I'm an idiot. Anyways, Bills, Dolphins. Dolphins beat the Bills. Kind of continuing the trend of a little bit of a week of upsets. Josh Allen didn't play spectacular. I mean he
No.
had quite a few yards, but throw pick. The rushing attack was just never really there for the Buffalo Bills. And Dolphins win a game that they probably shouldn't.
Yeah, this was a bit of a weird one, but yeah, I mean Josh Allen threw a pick and he fumbled. And then at that point, it was like the Bills were down big at halftime and they had to make kind of a push. And then the fumble kind of just threw them behind the eight ball. Um, Not even a close game at all. Like there was never really a shot for the Bills. They never really got their chance. And yeah, the Dolphins hold on. And now, I mean, Dolphins are still not going to make the playoffs. The Bills still are. It doesn't affect anything, but probably a smack in the face to the Bills.
So this does, in conjunction with our next game, make the AFC East very interesting with the Patriots beating the Buccaneers, moving to 8-2. I said it last week. I think I might commit to it. I think I might just go back to my New England roots. You see the state of Maine behind me. I think I might be a Pats guy. Drake May is exciting. I love Mike Rabel. I have an excuse because I'm from there. Um, this Pats team is very fun.
Yeah, they're a fun team to watch for sure. I mean, Falcons played them last week. It was an entertaining game all the way, and this one was the same. Bucks Patriots was also another exciting game. Um, Drake May's still my MVP pick. I mean, he looks great and he's winning these really important games. I mean, the Patriots now have beaten every team in the NFC South. They played all four of us. They took us all down. Now, I'm not going to tell you that the NFC South is a strong division. I'm not going to tell you that. But the Bucks are
You
good,
shouldn't.
and but the Bucks are good, and they beat the one that actually is good. So
Hmm.
you know, I have to imagine that unfortunately, as quickly as it seems that they were bad, they are just back to being really good, which stinks.
Yeah. Uh,
The Patriots
I
got bad after the Falcons got bad and have gotten good before we got good again, which really sucks.
yeah, I mean like the Jets went through like five quarterbacks between when they were bad and when they were good again. Um, if you're the Tennessee Titans, you're looking at this Patriots team. who nobody really thought was going to be all that amazing, but has the head coach named Mike Vrabel. Um, and you willingly let him go. You actually told him to leave. Um, if you're a Titans fan, you gotta be just so upset.
I don't really know why they let him go. I had never really understood how we were going to put what was going on with the Titans on Mike Vrabel. It wasn't even that the
No.
Titans were really like bad. They were just kind of old. Like just give them a sec to get some new talent in there.
Right. They just didn't have the players to play. Which sometimes you get caught in that situation as a coach, but it ended with Mike Vrabel going back to where he wants to be, and that's in New England, leading this Patriots team to a very, very good looking season right now. And they're cruising in the AFC East. But we move on to the West Coast, the LA Rams versus the San Francisco 49ers. The Rams put on a show. Matt Stafford with 4 touchdowns, Kyron Williams with 2, just really putting a hurting on these 49ers.
Dude, if there's anyone else who's making a case for MVP, it's the old man Matt Stafford, who
Dude, he's
continues to look amazing.
he's ageless.
Yeah, I mean, the Georgia boy is coming out and just showing up for the LA Rams. And this was a game in San Francisco. The Niners have already beaten the Rams once this year, and there was never a shot. I mean, the Rams went up 21-0, and they kind of just they let their foot off the gas slightly. They almost tried to let the Niners back in it, but then kind of caught themselves. End up finishing the game with a solid 16-point victory.
Yeah, I mean, anytime that you're able to hold Christian McCaffrey to 30 yards on 12 carries, that's a good day for your defense. They didn't let him break one off. His longest rush was for 5 yards. They did a really good job kind of smothering this 49ers offense, and the LA Rams offense just went out there and balled, man.
Yeah, Rams offense looked great. 75% touchdown rate this game. It's a good look for the Rams for sure. I expect them to continue to grow here as I mean, you got an offensive minded coach in Sean McVay, who's already a great coach. And then you've got Matt Stafford at the helm. You've got Kyron Williams and Blake Corum there, a two-headed running back. Kyron Williams obviously the stronger back, but you have a good backup. Puka Nakua is there. I mean, it's a really solid offense. And you give those players to an offensive minded coach as strong as McVay is, those are the points that he's going to put up against teams that don't show up.
Yeah, it's a real kind of show you who you are game for the LA Rams. But we will get to our final game, and it's another shit kicking. This time, the Seahawks over the absolutely abysmal Cardinals. This team is so depressing, even with Jacoby Brissett and not Kyler Murray. Yeah, Seahawks just really, really pound the Cardinals. Pause.
Excuse me. This game, I don't even have to really say much about it. The score is actually, even though it's a 22-point game, the score is actually better than it really was. It was actually at one point 35-0. So, um, the Cardinals scored 22 points on the Seahawks backups, but Um, I want to say that Jackson Smith and Jigba is really good, and Sam Darnold is a lot better than any of us thought he could be when he was on the Jets.
Yeah, I mean, good for Sam Darnold. Carving out a little career for himself after going to what has become quarterback purgatory in the Jets. Um, Good for him.
It is. I'm
Um,
good for him for sure.
Go ahead.
No, just gonna say, yeah, definitely good for him.
Um, but with that, that is our NFL recap. We are going to do a quick little Super Bowl pick dated from our previous, we probably did it a few weeks ago. Eddie, who do you have in the Super Bowl and who do you have winning it?
Um, just based off of what I see right now, I do still stand on the fact that I think this is the Bills' year. I know they didn't look good against the Dolphins, and I'm buying their stock low right now. I still think the Bills will be in the AFC Championship, and I think they can get it done this year. And for the NFC, my pick has changed. Early in the year, it was the Commanders. Jaden Daniels is out, so that's completely out the window. That's
Hmm.
gone. Um, but I like the Seahawks. I really do. I think the Seahawks have a serious shot this year at making a big run. Defense looks great. Offense looks even better. I like the Seahawks.
Um, I got a lot of things going on. I really would like to say the Patriots because I think it would be funny. Um, but I don't think that that's actually true. I think they're probably a year or two removed from probably
Need a
winning the.
little bit more development, just a little bit. They're good,
Yeah,
and they're
I
gonna
mean,
be there.
you got to take your lumps kind of in this league, and it's rarely that you see a team just one year be good and win the Super Bowl. So I'm gonna go with the Bills. I think the Bills are still gonna win it. Um, I think this is Josh Allen's year. Just get to the playoffs. I mean, these regular season games they matter, but not what really matters is the playoffs. So I'm gonna take the Bills, and I am gonna take the Lions
Okay, I
to
like it.
be in the Super Bowl with them. Um, Looking for one of those teams to get their first Super Bowl in a billion years. Um,
I think first. I
and
think it's
yeah,
actually first ever for both. I'm pretty sure.
really?
The Lions have never been. I know that for a fact. And I'm pretty sure that the Bills lost four in a row and don't have one either.
Oh, I thought they won one right before that. Okay, so yeah,
I'm
maybe
pretty
their first ever Super Bowl.
I love when I would love to see that game. Two teams who have never been to the Super Bowl go. It's like one of you guys is going to have the night of your life. The other one's going to be pretty sad, but at least one of you guys are going to have a really good night.
Right. All right. What everybody came for, the AE top 12.
Okay, we're going to
Because
go to 12 this
we
week.
have 12 bracket. You know, we want to make it so that we can kind of talk about the college football playoff bracket a little bit. Um, let's start with highest ranked. We'll assume highest ranked S or conference, whatever. Highest ranked per team in the conference wins the conference, we'll say. Just
Okay,
for clarity's sake. Um, so we have Ohio State, one seed.
right?
Oh, wait, no, it's not. It's not like that anymore. Sorry, I misspoke. I was still under the assumption that it was 1 through 4 was the conference champions, but it's not.
Not anymore.
Okay. All right, never mind. Reel back. Reel back. 1 through 12. Ohio State. They're gonna stay at one. Just because they deserve it, I guess. I don't know. Indiana still undefeated, stays at number 2, I think.
Unless
Texas saying, no. Eh, no. Um,
it doesn't really matter. This isn't.
I don't think A&M did enough against, like, if they would have really beat the piss out of Mizzou, like no points Mizzou, then maybe I'd think about it, but tough to give a team that won, tough to dock them down, you know?
Well, it's also
So,
like it doesn't really if like it doesn't really affect you if you're two or three too bad. I mean, it's like either way, if it was like two and one, maybe, one's important, but two and three is like neither you're the best. You're just like some of the best.
and then here's where we could go a little bit of the homer pick if we really wanted to. Who did Alabama even play this week?
Bama played LSU, won like 22-9 or something like that.
All right, we'll leave them. Alabama 4, Georgia 5.
Yeah, that would be my top five. The same as the actual CFP rankings.
Yep. Here's where it gets a little tricky. Um, what do we think about Texas at 6? Texas Tech at 6. Sorry.
I mean, I still don't love it, but I hate that I keep discrediting Texas Tech. I mean, this week they actually did win a really important game, and they were ranked 8 before that. I mean, they only moved up 2 spots and they played really well, but did they even deserve to be 8? I don't really think so personally, but you know,
Yeah. Um, I think I think we leave them there at 6.
I'm okay with it. I mean, I don't love Texas Tech, but I feel bad for just continuing to like discredit them on these really important games they're winning.
Yeah. Um, do we like Ole Miss at 7, Oregon at 8?
I do. And I think that this caused a big debate, the two teams switching, because Oregon still won and Ole Miss obviously beat the brakes out of what was the team they played? They played somebody who was like absolutely nobody. I can't even
Citadel.
remember. The Citadel, that's it. And they obviously shut them out as they should. And Oregon barely wins, but they win against a ranked team. So it was a lot of debate as to whether these two should have swapped. But in my opinion, I'm pretty sure we swapped them in our poll last week. So
Yeah.
I'm okay with them moving. And I'm okay with 7 Ole Miss. I'm okay with the top 8 as we have in the CFP right now.
Okay. And here is where I think the CFP has never been more wrong in the history of ever. Notre Dame should not be anywhere near this top 12.
I mean, I don't personally think so either, but the fact of the matter is Notre Dame is going to be in the college football playoff because this ranking
Not in
we
mine.
do, I that's fine and I'm with you. I'm totally with you on it. But Notre Dame is actually in real life is going to be in the college football playoff. Doesn't have to be in our fantasy land here. I'm okay with dropping Notre Dame, but I'm just telling you as like a reality check, they will be there.
What if we signed a petition and we're just like, hey guys, Notre Dame is not that good. And they refuse to join a conference like a bunch of assholes just because they think that they can get in the college football playoff every year, which they pay you to do every single year. This is just ridiculous. Notre Dame, you're number 700 in the nation. Texas, number 9.
Yeah, I like Texas at 9 for sure.
Sorry, I had to get that out. Texas number 9. Um, I think Oklahoma was up to number 10 in that situation.
Yep.
Okay.
Vanderbilt time.
Well, is it Vanderbilt time or is it actually Georgia Tech time? So this is where things get a little bit interesting,
Yeah.
right? So let's say that Georgia Tech loses to us for conversation's sake. And then that opens things up a little bit, I think, because ACC might just be playing themselves out of a spot.
Yeah. I mean, I'm okay for Tech to be in there. This is toughy for me because unbelievably, Miami actually jumped Tech this week, which I don't understand at all. But
Yeah, I, I
um,
I've given up on Miami. They're not they could win their conference and then make it, but they just don't. I don't think they're that good.
I agree. I don't think so either. BYU remains at 12. This team, I'm sorry, I know you're a one-loss team, but you just got absolutely spanked by the only team that you've played that actually means anything. So you shouldn't be in the top 12 either. Um,
Yeah, I think we should go Vanderbilt at 11, Georgia Tech at 12.
I'm okay with that. Or Vanderbilt at 12, Tech at 11. Either one there. And
No,
then
I, I won't give Tech that.
that's fine. And then I would put right on the cusp, I would put Utah at 13 and then BYU at
Hmm.
14.
Yeah, but to be honest, before I was making that argument, I was thinking that there was more G5 teams a little bit closer than there were. Um, Cincinnati looks to be ranked 22 on the AP. South Florida's at 24 on the college football, and Cincinnati's at 25. If they can kind of sneak up at 7-2, I just don't think it's possible. It would be fun. There'd be fun chaos if everybody just starts to lose in the ACC and then two G5 teams make it and the ACC doesn't. That would make me laugh a lot.
That would
But
be
it doesn't
really
look like
funny.
that's going to happen in this chaos scenario.
No, I mean, Tech would have to lose again before losing to us, and then Miami would have
Correct.
to lose at least another one, probably.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, um, it's time for Shid Mid Legit.
It is. It is time.
Do you have Shid Mid Legit for me?
I do. I do have Shid mid legit for you.
Okay. I'm ready. I'm ready for Shid Mid Legit.
Yeah, this should be a bit of a fun one, I think. This is one that I came up with off of my dome. I've been taking suggestions the past couple weeks, but this week I've come up with my own here. So we're gonna do Iowa, right? Who just, barely lost to Oregon. We're gonna do the Michigan Wolverines, right? And we're gonna do Miami.
Ooh, okay. Hmm. So here's my conundrum. I don't know. I don't want to put Michigan as legit because I don't believe that.
I don't either, and I am a fan.
But I also don't believe in Miami. So this, ooh, usually I have trouble the other way where I think, okay, let's go.
Your issue this week is that you don't think any of the teams are very good, where usually
Right, I would
it's,
go shid,
yeah.
shid, shid if I had those options. Um, but with the options given, I'm gonna go Iowa as shid, Miami is mid, Michigan is legit. Only because Michigan plays in a real conference.
Wow. All right. All right. Cool. Um, yeah, I mean, I guess that would be what I would have to do too. I I might make, I guess Miami could be legit, but I mean, I obviously would like Michigan to be the legit. We'll see. Um, Michigan's got a couple of gimme games before we go into Ohio State. If Michigan is legit, that would be, that'll be the game where they show it.
It's true. Anything can happen in those big games. Rivalry week will be really fun this year. As it is every year, but I think I'll be paying extra attention this year.
I think that as opposed to last year, this will be a year that Ohio State and Michigan will play, and Michigan will actually be playing for a playoff spot because last year we didn't. We won, but it didn't matter. We were never going to the playoff. This year, I think that we actually will be playing for a spot in the playoff. I expect to
Yeah, I mean,
lose.
if you guys win, it probably will bump you up into a playoff spot. So things get very interesting.
That would be, abiding any losses from Ohio State here before we play them, but I don't see that happening. So we'll see.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that has been episode 12 of So Back Podcast. We are so lucky to have you guys here as listeners. Um, and we hope to see you again next week for episode 13 of the So Back Podcast. Peace.
Peace.